Hello and welcome to Internet Marks Wrestling review or recap of Saturday night's main event that happened earlier on tonight. It was a fine show. I think this is the third Saturday night's main event since they brought it back, and I think they've all been fine. You know, nothing alarming about them, nothing to absolutely rave about, unbelievable sort of. They're just network specials that they put on in between Saturday Night Live's hiatuses, and they're fine. I enjoyed them for the most part. It's nice to see wrestling on Saturday night always. WWE drone picking that over AEW, but it's fine. Each of their own. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good show, an okay to good show. And I think, like I said, amazing happened on it, but I think it was interesting. There were some big stars on it, doing some good matches and some good takeaways to set up the stories or continue the stories going forward. So I thought the crowd was good. Yeah, the Florida crowd looked really good on the network. I love the branding of Saturday night's main event. Don't know if you do. Really like the branding of it. Really great, the match setups and so forth. And really like the branding. Anyway, we'll get into the show. And I want to, conscious not to make it sort of like a mini review or such, or a long form review more so, but just a recap over the points and then giving my takes on what went down, what we could be seeing going forward as a result of what went down. So we open the show with a tag team match. Sami Zayn, CM Punk teaming against still no name for the team other than Paul Heyman's faction of Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. This was a good match. This was the right match to open the show, I think. I thought there was some really good wrestling. I think all four of these are really good wrestlers anyway, so we were expected to have a good match. It was always it's nice to see Sami Zayn back. So it's been a while since we've seen him in the ring, since March because it was Chamber, right, against Kevin Owens in Canada. So yeah, it was nice to see Sami Zayn back. Team with CM Punk, a tag team we probably never thought we would see at one stage, but yeah, I thought it was a good match. The key takeaway from this is sort of what happened towards the end with the return of Bronson Reed, one of my favorites. I really like his his size. I think he's a really good character to have back on TV. I think the Giants, with the release of Braun Strowman and Omos seemingly being AWOL, it's nice to have the variety of a Giant back on TV. And I thought Bronson Reed was doing some really good work last year before the injury in the War Games match. And I think he was on the ascendancy in a good way. And so seemingly has, he helped Seth and Braun get the win. Sami Zayn took the pin, which was, he was obviously the guy that was going to take the pin with that match of him and Punk. But at the same time, it's a shame that Sami has taken on the pinfall. I really want him to be in the world title scene going forward, but that's a wish away. Anyway, Bronson Reed joining the new faction of Seth and Braun and Paul Heyman. I think it's a great move. Yeah, I didn't see this coming. I'd be surprised if anyone else did. And I think I think that's good. It's a really good position for him to be in. He's, I was going to say Braun Breaker's the muscle, but Bronson Reed definitely the muscle and a really formidable team. Adds a lot of strengths to that team now and makes them, I was going to say, far more fearsome than they were. I think Braun Breaker was doing a great job sort of carrying the load of being the strongman. Bronson Reed adds another dimension to the group. I think he's got a lot of pluses in the ring as well as outside of it, and I think he's decent on the mic as well, so I think he adds quite a lot. It's nice to see him associated with Paul Heyman as well. I think that's going to be really good for him going forward. So yeah, that was a great move, and I'm really happy with what went down there. They're going forward for Yeah, like I said, Sammy, I'm not sure what you do with Sammy now. Is he going to qualify for Money in the Bank? I doubt it. I'd be surprised, in which case he's sort of floating again on the Raw scene. He seems too high to drop down to the Intercontinental division, and too not ready for the world title scene. So he is sort of in a little bit of no man's land, unless he's going to sort of feud with... I thought he would be the third man of the Seth group, so I was surprised. I thought he was going to turn on Punk, but that was a red herring, clearly. Which shows, I'm an idiot, and shows what I know. So that was good. Next match was Chelsea Green versus Zelina. This was announced on Friday, and I imagine this was a quickly put together match because they needed to fill out the card. That's me being a bit of a bitch, but clearly it's one of those examples. Fine match, yeah. I thought it was really odd the way Chelsea lost the belt, because I would have had that match on at WrestleMania personally. I think Chelsea Green deserved to be on that card at WrestleMania. I think she's done phenomenal work entertainment-wise for at least the last calendar year and beyond. And it was a shame to not see her on the card with that belt. And I think to have her lose the belt the SmackDown after Mania felt a little bit short-sighted for me. I was surprised that they went that way, but that may just be me. So I think, this was, again, the rematch. I think the nature of how it was put together is a little suspect, and whatever. Yeah, that's just my personal take. But anyway, the match was fine. Chelsea lost here cleanly, very cleanly, with a great top rope sort of spinning powerbomb thing. I forget the name of the move. Apologies, I should have researched that before starting recording, but there you go. I'm new to this. Very decisive win. And that's been 2 losses now for Chelsea against Zelina. I would imagine that's her out of the US title picture for the foreseeable future. Surely. And the odd thing for me is that certainly her faction, the Secret Service, the name, they've even got the brand. You notice on SmackDown, they've got the bottom third, the name, they've got their own branding now all of a sudden. And it's curious that that's the gimmick, the sort of presidential, United States presidential sort of gimmick applied to someone who is now not the United States champion. They only applied that gimmick to them just before WrestleMania, in which case the week after Mania she lost the belt, and why the effort was made to get that all done and dusted. And now she's lost twice, I can't see her being involved in the United States title scene, surely. I made a pitch for her on the channel in one of my videos, the 10 possible winners of the women's Money in the Bank match, that Chelsea should be in the match and potentially should win it. She should be a favourite to win it, because transport the gimmick that she's established with the United States and being presidential to the world title scene makes all the sense in the world. And you can just, gloss up the United States element of it and just make her sort of the faction leader with Secret Service. You don't have to apply it to it, but for now it seems, it doesn't seem like they've got a Money in the Bank qualifier for her on the cards, because they announced the last one next week, which is Jade, Nia, and Naomi. So unless something drastic is going to change, I don't see Chelsea in the match, in which case she's sort of a little, I don't want to say floundering, but the gimmick is applied solely to the United States title, or it seemingly has been. And so now that's been taken away. Anyway, that's just a mini rant from me, because I'm a fan of Chelsea and I think she's done really good work, and I think was a good first pick for the first United States champion. I'm a little gripey about how she's, the procession to her losing it and what that would have meant for her. But at the same time, she'll be fine. She is an absolutely brilliant performer who makes the most out of any airtime she gets. So I'm sure with her creativity and her personality, she'll be able to spin this in a way where in 3 weeks' time, you're not really asking these questions. But for now, I'm a bit like, that's an odd match to have put on and have Chelsea lose clean in such a way. But it's fine. It's fine. Go Chelsea. And Zelina Vega is a good champion, I think. I wish they would give her more time in her matches, because her matches always feel very quick. They don't give her enough time to really sort of earn the babyface spots that they set up. That'd be my only sort of food for thought for the Zelina Vega. But yeah, she's great. Next match, R-Truth, John Cena. Probably the most predictable match on the card for me, possibly. I'm looking at the others. I can't see any other. I mean, we all knew he wasn't going to win. R-Truth came out dressed as John Cena. Yep, that's okay. I'll cards on the table. I am not an R-Truth guy. I understand why people love him. I really do. And I'm not judging anyone who finds him hilarious, which clearly I'm in the minority. Lots of people find him really funny, and humor is subjective as well, so please don't shout at me too much. It's just I'm not an R-Truth guy. I find him quite annoying, but again, each to their own. I don't hate the guy, I just don't find him very funny. You know, the comic backstage bits, it takes a lot to make me laugh in those bits anyway, because of the nature of the way they film them, etc. I'm not one that sort of, you know, was howling when he came out dressed as John Cena. I just sort of shrugged. But he's fine. He's really good in the ring as well, for his age. I think he moves so much better than some of the people who are younger than him. And credit to him for looking after himself and for staying employed for so long. So like I said, I don't hate him. I understand why he was in the match. It's the John Cena farewell tour. Once upon a time, he was a big part of that. So I'm glad he was on the list of opponents that John Cena probably put his finger in the air and said, I want to face them before I retire one more time. And good for Truth for getting the match. The match itself was fine. The finish I did like a lot, actually, with the Cena been teasing the face turn already, or potentially sort of questioning his actions, and that played out in the finish where he had the belt. He was going to try and hit R-Truth with it, and he sort of just looked at himself and questioned what he was doing or why he was doing it all of a sudden, and the fans were eating it up, and it was really quite a moment. He gives the belt, hands the belt to the referee, says, no, I'm not going to cheat, and then proceeds to give R-Truth a low blow, just kicking him right between the legs. It was great, and I really liked that finish. It was very good. And then, so with the low blow, he gives him an AA and gets a sneaky bad guy heel win. It was great. Yeah, really good finish to an okay match. And Cena goes on. The tour dates gets ticked one more off. I wish they put the number up after the match, though. They would put the number after the match, and so you could see the ticking away. That'd be so much more effective, so we could see the countdown more regularly than we are doing. And so the impact of him leaving or getting close to leaving would be more stark, but it's fine. You know, that's just a suggestion from myself. Next match, I thought the match of the night for me was Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, steel cage. I like both these guys, and I have enjoyed for the most part the feud they've been doing. I think they've made the most out of what was essentially just throwing two guys together for a Mania match. I'm glad they've extended it after Mania as well, because I think it does more for Damian to continue it rather than Drew, because the nature of what they've been doing and saying to each other has gotten personal and made more of an impact. And I think it's done a lot for Damian in terms of allowing him to, after his world title loss last summer, be able to carry on and carry a feud with a big hitter like Drew and hold his own. I think it's done wonders for him in terms of keeping him in that upper echelon of the roster. And so you can plug him in if you need to with a feud, because he's established himself as a hard-hitting guy who can hang with the big guys in the main event scene. I think he's done really well over the last 18 months, in my opinion. And so yeah, this match was my favourite of the night. Good match, some really good spots, and Damian got the win, which is great. So I wonder now if they've traded wins to then have them both move on to other things, or are we going to get a trilogy? As usually, I mean, my heart is saying yes, give me the trilogy. Third match between these guys, they'll deliver. I think the Mania match was fine. This was a better match than the Mania match, in my opinion. The problem I've got is every week we just see the same thing on TV, which is pull apart brawl. One of them arrives at the arena, gets attacked as they're coming in. The other guy comes in the arena the other guy attacks. And I think they've got to mix it up. If they're going to go for a third match in the trilogy, which I don't think is a horrible idea, I think it's a good idea. And I think probably Drew's going to win the thing. I think Drew's going to win the thing because I think he's going to be plugged into the John Cena stuff closer to the end. That's just a theory of mine. But if he is, then I think Drew's going to come out on top in this feud and then move on to a world title, wherever that is and wherever that may be, seen down the line. Yeah, and I think good for Damien for winning this. He needed to win this one. The fact that Damien's won this tells me that they're probably going to have a third match, but that's just a theory for me. But yeah, it was best match of the night, good cage match, and straight after that we got a John Cena promo backstage with Jey Uso as he was on his way to the ring, and John Cena essentially says to Jey, he quite like the idea of him losing to Logan Paul, because when John Cena takes the main WWE title away, then all you'll be left with is a title owned by a YouTuber, which popped me because anyway, that leads us nicely onto the main event with Jey Uso and Logan Paul. I've said on this channel as well, and I've got a couple of comments from watchers and from viewers saying I've gone a bit harsh to Logan Paul. I take your point, and I do admire people calling me out on that. I still stand by, I'm not a Logan Paul fan. Each to their own, definitely. And I do respect that I may have got a couple of things wrong saying he's not a wrestling fan, or I didn't say that directly, but the implication was that I was implying that he wasn't a wrestling fan, or he's a non-wrestler, or whatever I said. Fair enough, he may be a wrestling fan, and he has to be able to do it, to be doing this as much as he is doing. I just don't think he's as good as what people make out that he is. And I think he is over promoted beyond his ability. He's certainly carried in most of his matches, and I think the AJ Styles match at Mania was a not good match and pretty boring as a result of Logan Paul being the dominant competitor within it. Like, AJ just sold for the whole match pretty much, and then got screwed by carrying a little bit, and that was it. And this match followed a similar storyline with Logan Paul not particularly being the best in doing athletic moves. He's a very good athlete. I find it very hard to take him seriously as a world title contender. I really do, and I don't think he should be. When he was in the United States division, it sort of was his level. Not just because I'm not a fan, but I thought that was around the level of serviceability for what needed to be told with his, story or his character or so forth. He's a great heel, clearly, because he gets the reactions that most heels back in the day would. And I think that's what garners a lot of his praise, is because he's one of the only heels to get proper heel heat, go away heat, because people don't want to see him win. And there is an art form in that, and I'm not a wrestling expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I am a fan and a viewer. And to watch him try to wrestle at times is a little too much to stomach for me. And I do have, and they're probably playing off this fear, I do have a fear that the temptation is always there for them to put a belt on him, a world title belt, that secondary world title belt that Jay's currently holding, on Logan Paul, so that he can parade it around on his platforms. And by the way, credit to him for being such a great entrepreneur. Look, I'm trying to do YouTube as good as him, and I'm nowhere near as good as him, so it is what it is. But yeah, I find it very hard to stomach with the Logan Paul stuff. And yeah, I think eventually they're going to put the world title in him. I do, and I think that's going to be a hard sell. I see a lot of negative headlines about WWE at the moment, and I do think a lot of it is overblown. I think we always have a fallow period post. I mean, I'm not going to defend the booking so much, because I think they should be doing a better job. They could be doing a better job than they are doing, making people engaged and excited for the product more so than they are doing. It does feel very paint by numbers a lot of the time. But I think that if they were to, in addition to that, put the title on a Logan Paul, imagine the negative headlines. I'm sure they're rubbing their hands with glee because controversy equals cash or what have you. I don't think so. I think you could see a real blowback from the fan base, more so than now, which again I think is slightly overblown with some of the comments and the headlines grabbing clickbait things that I see. But that said, I think it would be a bad idea. Yeah, I do. But I think the temptation is there, and I think they've sort of got it pegged. This match, I'll go back to this match now. It was fine. John Cena comes out to try and cost Jay the match because obviously I told you his MO. And this was probably the most interesting part of the match for me was the ending, because then Cody Rhodes makes his return. We haven't seen him since WrestleMania losing to John Cena. He comes out and helps stave off an attack from John Cena on Jay. And it's announced that at Money in the Bank in 2 weeks, there will be a tag team match. John Cena and Logan Paul versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Okay. That's happening. I haven't really processed my thoughts on that just yet. I think it's an interesting one. I think it's another put together tag team match. They seem to be doing a lot of those at the moment. Yeah, it's got the star power and it's got storyline intrigue, I guess, in terms of John Cena. Another date of John Cena's, which, if we take him at his word, he's got 15 left, and we're using the Money in the Bank appearance to have a tag team. Fine, okay, fine. Yeah, okay. I don't really know where it goes other than Cody trying to get back to John Cena or set up a John Cena match for SummerSlam. I assume that's the plan. It's going to be Cody and Cena at SummerSlam then. Jey Uso, Logan Paul. I don't know where you go from that. I think they might be teasing the Jay losing to Logan Paul thing, but I think Jay's going to lose the title to probably Seth Rollins. And Seth, I don't say probably. If he's in the Money in the Bank match, he's definitely winning that. I don't know if they've announced a qualifier with him in it. I'm surprised they haven't, because in kayfabe that makes all the sense in the world. But for now, I think be interesting. So that was Saturday night's main event. It was a good to fine show. I think there was, like I said, a couple of really good matches in there. I think Priest and McIntyre being the highlight for me. I think the opening match as well was good. And the others were fine. Yeah, I think that's Saturday night's main event. That's usually Saturday night's main event. There's one or two really good matches that you should check out, and the others are just fine. Without being too negative. But yeah, let me know what you thought in the comment section. Please leave me a like if you like what we said, and leave me a comment as well if you just want to discuss or disagree with me. It's absolutely fine at all. It's totally fine. These are all just opinions. Whoever you like and I don't like, or vice versa, it's totally cool. It's all cool, and I'm happy to discuss or be proved wrong in anything I've said as well, which is probably likely. I'm getting on a bit in age, so yeah, that's entirely possible. But yeah, each of their own. Let me know what you think in the comments, and leave me a like if you like as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.